Well. The announcement of the remake of Calgar and Victrix Guard, I'm sure caught a lot of you by surprise. It definitely caught me by surprise. Then after the surprise, there was definitely a mixed bag of different kind of reactions, whether some people were completely angry with it, and then other people were glad that this remake was coming, and everything in between. So this video was a little bit unexpected for me to make, so you all get a break from my dry hands as well as my dirty yellow crackhead nails. We are going to be talking about how I feel as a content creator with the release of the remakes of Calgar as well as the Victrix Guard, how I feel personally as a collector about these remakes, and probably most importantly, the implications of the remakes of these two characters. What can we do about it? And finally, let you know the action figures that were announced from the last time I did one of these videos up until now, in which there were really not that many. As a content creator, how do I feel about these remakes? Well, to be honest, this is prime level content, and obviously as a creator I absolutely love it. I mean, Calgar is a very famous Marine, and you know that people would definitely love to see a review on him as well as the Victrix Guard that surround him. And then who doesn't love a comparison video comparing the old Calgar action figure versus the new Calgar action figure? So shameless plug for me, look for that video in the next coming months. But I think most of you are interested in how I feel about these new releases that were announced. And I'll be honest with you, in the beginning I was a little bit like, oh, that kind of sucks, just because I feel as if these action figures are now, well, a little bit outdated and have been eclipsed by something that is potentially bigger and better. And I felt that the remake was a little bit too soon, in all honesty, because these figures are probably not more than 2 to 3 years old, which is really not that old at all. So I can understand where people are coming from, where they're infuriated that they went on the secondary market and spent a large sum of money to get Calgar or the Victrix Guard, and then all of a sudden JoyToy announces that, you know what, these guys are coming out bigger and better than what they were before. I don't really mind getting new action figures of the Victrix Guard as well as Calgar. I've actually always thought that Calgar looked woefully undersized compared to the other Space Marines. I kind of feel like he should have been taller to begin with, and I believe I've said that before on past review videos. And I also feel as if that the joints and stuff aren't exactly that great, but regardless, we are getting the biggest and best technology out there with the version 4 figures, and I'm really excited to see what JoyToy has done to improve the old one to this new one. Let's discuss the implications of these remakes. Well, first and foremost, I believe that these implications are as massive as Calgar's Gauntlets of Ultramar. Now, I will preface this once again by saying that I do not have any connections to JoyToy whatsoever. I do not know any future releases. All I'm doing is guessing and speculating about these future releases that could possibly happen because of these remakes. It would appear to me that every single asset in the video game Space Marine 2 would be fair game to be converted into a action figure form or just remade. So I will have to preface this by saying that there may be some spoilers for the Space Marine 2 video game, especially the enemies that are encountered at the end. I believe that I have mentioned to you all that I love the Thousand Suns, and obviously for those of us who have played the video game, we know that we encounter the Thousand Suns at the end. I believe that the JoyToy action figure line seriously needs some big baddies that have been influenced by the wiles of Tzeentch. So in the game you fight Rubric Marines, Scarab Occult Terminators, Exalted Sorcerers, as well as a Sorcerer on a Disc of Tzeentch. Which means I believe that there is a great likelihood of those enemies that I have stated before to be converted into action figure form. Then on the demon side we have the Zangors, a Helldrake, and a Lord of Change. Man, can you imagine the scale of that Lord of Change if he were actually to be converted into action figure form? But I think that those demons that I mentioned are probably very slight possibilities and to be converted into action figure form. Then in the early game, we all know that you get the pleasure of fighting Tyranids, but we have seen a good amount get released already, which are the Termagants, the Hormagaunts, Tyranid Warriors, and Ripper Swarms. Obviously, these serve very low on the hierarchy of the Tyranid hive mind. However, given that the Tyranids have already been released, there is a great chance that other more vile and deadly Tyranids will be converted into action figure form. And that includes the Lictor, the Ravner, a Carnifex, and the Hive Tyrant may be released too. Then on the allied side, we have many other action figures that we could possibly introduce or reintroduce. Obviously, we have Leandros. He will definitely have his unique look. Acheron is another candidate, with him being a Phobos captain. Then there are plenty of Imperial Guard assets, characters, and even maybe vehicles that have a potential to be converted into action figure form. Now, I am on Reddit a lot, and because of the announcement of these remakes, I have seen some really wild speculations that could probably 100% debunk to you right now. There's a person that mentioned that all the Primarchs are now going to get a bigger and better scale, and I'll have to say and ask, was there a Primarch that was seen in the video game Space Marine 2? And the clear answer is no, there was not. So no, we would not be getting any kind of remake of the Primarchs whatsoever. Speaking of scaling, there were a lot of Redditors that were bemoaning the increase of size of Calgar as well as the Victrix Guard. And there's really nothing much that I can say except this is the direction that JoyToy is going. You either literally put up or shut up. Which brings me to the next point that I'm going to make, which is, now what can we do about this situation? And my answer to you is really not that much. You have literally one of two choices, which is not buying the new action figures because you're angry about the scaling, or buying the action figures and remaining in the hobby. And that's literally it. All right, folks, to end the video, there were only 3 action figures that were announced from the last time I did one of these videos to now. And those action figures are all for the Alpha Legion, with one being the Legion Praetor and Cataphracti armor. And finally, 2 Liurnian Terminators. Well, members of the chapter, thank you for tuning into this State of Affairs video. Either way, let me know about what you thought about the announcements of the Space Marine 2 remakes of Calgar, as well as the Victrix Guard, what these possibly could mean for the action figures community. Oh, I forgot to add, if you are thinking about pre-ordering Calgar as well as the Victrix Guard, there is only one place to pre-order them at, and that is at David Toys, where I get all of my action figures. These guys provide the best and cleanest website where you can find all these action figures that you want at a simple click. And for us poor lovely US residents, these action figures still remain tariff free, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. And before you check out on that pre-order, do not forget to use the code SNS to receive 12% off. Thank you so much for watching, and with that being said, I will see you all in the next one.